All right, Tulsi-crats, free radicals of all shapes, sizes, colors, and denominations. Aloha from Dave's Garage. Not quite as homey and nice as, say, Jimmy Dore's place, but, it is what it is. I figured I'd try a little different approach on this video. Maybe YouTube will like it better. Who knows? I don't know. I'm starting to notice people that Bernie folks, people who support Bernie Sanders, are beginning to turn on Tulsi Gabbard in a way that is, I think, not becoming of Bernie-crats. I've stated numerous times that if Tulsi Gabbard does not get the Democratic Party nomination for president, I would support Bernie Sanders, unless, of course, Tulsi Gabbard did a 180 and decided to run as an independent candidate, and honestly, I would have to follow her right along. The Green Party currently is offering a guy who believes in the Russiagate hoax, and I've actually talked to one of his people back and forth via email, and it was very frustrating, or had video proof of him saying this stuff. And this person then decided that they were going to take apart Jimmy Dore, which I didn't really appreciate at all. I think Jimmy Dore is a voice of reason in this, and I think he certainly has staked out a very consistent position on the issue. So it's Tulsi or then it's Bernie, but I may not be that person that gets offended by, a huge bunch of Bernie supporters to the point where I don't want to vote for Bernie if I end up having to vote for Bernie. And I do mean that, because here's the thing about Bernie Sanders. I'm not sure what his foreign policy is going to be like. I have this hunch that he's going to be domestic agenda focused, and there's going to be no room to pull back on these military interventions because he's going to be so busy working on a domestic agenda, which I will applaud him for, but he's going to have to kind of walk and chew gum and do two things at the same time because one is related to the other. Now, a lot of Bernie supporters, they do see endless war as a problem, but what they're mainly focused on is Medicare for all, free college, $15 wages, those sorts of things. And I think those are all important issues. And I think those issues sell better, politically speaking. They're easier to explain in the political sphere, how people sort of react when you say foreign policy. A lot of times people glaze over. They don't see any need to worry about foreign policy. But yet if you show people the budget, if you show them numbers, what we're spending, why we have 22 veterans per day in this country currently committing suicide, on average it's 22 per day. Okay, we have created a system that is facilitating or perpetuating suicide. And so the issues are even bigger than just economic. They're philosophical, they're spiritual issues. Do you want to be a country that's known for sending maybe people who didn't have much opportunity when they got out of high school? Like I said to one guy on Twitter, I said they have recruitment tables set up at the high school. Hey, don't know what you're going to do with your future? How about join the military? We'll pay you. You can see the world. You can learn valuable skills, and then you'll be employed when you get back because everybody's going to want to hire you. You're not going to be able to work if you're a damaged bill of goods. So it might be true in some circumstances that the military service makes you more appealing to an employer, but at what risk? It's kind of like these drug commercials that run and they tell you all of the different side effects. Like liver failure. You want to have your skin nice and clear, and you take this stuff and there's a possibility that you might have a seizure or a stroke or something. Yeah, no, it's not worth the risk. But when you don't have a lot of economic opportunities. Imagine, instead of doing a military jobs program, which this is what the government does, they provide thousands of jobs to people who want to go into the military. The military is a dangerous profession. It's got high risk, and it's got limited reward, and it could end in suicide. All right? Imagine if they actually just created, you call it a green jobs program if you want to call it, what FDR kind of did. I think that would sell a lot better if you approached it the way FDR did it. And by the way, again, I'm still a stickler for not using the S word. I know there are people out there that say, you gotta say socialism. And I'm like, why? Don't you want other people to look at your program? Yes, I agree they need to be educated, but you also need to be educated on the fact that the perception of the word is bad, that the word means different things to different people. So why is it that you have to jam it down everybody's throat? Why can't you just say it's a jobs program? It's economic populism. That's my favorite term. And if you used all of these DSA candidates running, if they would use economic populism, they would probably win. But everybody looks at them as like the far left, and then you check every box that the far left checks all the time. Like you have to be for abortion until when the baby comes out and so forth, rather than like a Tulsi Gabbard position, which is much more nuanced and will certainly get the support of people who believe in choice, but you'll also get some sympathy from people who think, hey, third trimester, yeah, let's just be a sane culture. Let's not just go over a cliff. But all this to kind of say that the war issue and the foreign interventions and so forth, that all trickles down to economic issues. And the Bernie people are kind of bent on just talking about that, and every so often you hear military-industrial complex, which is good, because for Tulsi people, in the back of their minds, you're going, okay, in case Tulsi doesn't make it, which there is a chance that she won't make it. Some would say there's a much higher chance that she won't make it than her winning the nomination, and I get that, but so far things are doing pretty well, considering that she had no chance, that she would probably be out by now. The fact that she said, I'm staying to the convention, all right, has irritated a lot of the Bernie pundits. The people who used to have their own channels and they joined like TYT because I'm sure a bigger paycheck was involved and now you have to toe the company line and so forth. Those people are up in arms about Tulsi Gabbard. They're calling her a centrist. They're calling her a right-winger. She went on with Breitbart. She's talking about free speech. Yeah, those are bedrock principles that are in the Constitution. And I don't care if you're on the left or the right. The idea of a cancel culture because you say something, it flies against everything. And guess what? It will eventually bite you. You think you're immune to it because you stand with all of the politically correct people. Where's Kamala Harris right now in the polls? She's at 1% in New Hampshire. And she is the ultimate, yes, Elizabeth Warren, we need to ban Donald Trump from Twitter. Will you stand with me to, yeah, and millions of Americans are going, huh? I mean, just for entertainment value, why would you ban Donald Trump from Twitter? How are you going to retweet his tweets and come up with, rebuttals and real information for people if he's gone? It's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. And by the way, not everybody lives in the Twitter world, okay? The Twitter world is a world unto itself. And after I spend like 45 minutes on Twitter, I'm just like, I gotta go for a walk. I have to go hang out with my kids and do something productive, even if it's like, washing dishes. It's better than standing and waiting for some witty thing on Twitter, although it is addictive, and I think a lot of people get sucked into that. And a lot of people in the Bernie camp are getting sucked into this idea that Tulsi Gabbard is going to prevent Bernie Sanders from getting the nomination somehow. This is a hypothetical, all right? Say Bernie has like 45% of the whatever it's needed, the delegates needed to get the nomination. And Tulsi has 10, all right, or more. I don't know. Say Tulsi winds up with 10%, Bernie has about 45%. The next neo-lib has, like Joe Biden, he's got like 50, all right? I guarantee you Tulsi Gabbard will walk across and say, hey, Bernie, here are my people. Take the people, and there won't be any deal made. You don't have to guarantee Tulsi be on the ticket, although I think that would be incredibly wise of Bernie Sanders being 78 years old. People are going to ask health questions, and Bernie can say, hey, we got Tulsi here. Have you seen Tulsi's workout routine? Anything happens to me, you got Tulsi Gabbard. So, Bernie people, some advice, be a little nicer to the Tulsi people. The Tulsi people aren't going out of their way to tweak you guys, but all I see is, wow, I just talked about Tulsi and I'm getting slapped around by a Bernie person who is concerned that Tulsi, again, is basically taking some of the oxygen out of the room, which she is, but she's also getting new oxygen from new voters, unaffiliated voters, yes, conservative people who have had enough of Trump, who say, you know what, I'll sign on to climate change, Medicare for all, $15 an hour wage. I'll sign on to all of these things because I believe in integrity, and Tulsi Gabbard has that. So there you go. My first video from the garage is done. I don't know if it's going to be monetized, so if you can help me, again, it's PayPal, and I usually put my email in there, and if it's not in there, go back and look at some of my other videos. It will be in the description. And there is a Patreon as well. There's a logo top right on the banner. Just click on that. That Patreon account is shared with my music-based channel, which is my profitable channel. So again, thanks for watching. I'm working on uploading some stuff over to Rockfin as well. Not sure how that's going to all work out, but I'm going to give it a try. All right, folks, see you soon. Thanks for watching.